Yes, Padma, come here. I need your help. I may forget something and then we can help. Don't be so far away. Namo Shri Stamanam Vishachiputra Atra Surupam Rupam Tasya Kachamuri Purim Maturim Goshtuvatim Hadhakundam Girivaram Ahoradikaumarvasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Guru Tamanatos Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaitadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Ananda Leelamaya Vigrahaya Hema Madhyavyatstave Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Bhaktya Vedina Aparadha Lakshmi Jivasta Kama Vitara Kamati Pita Mayikam Sharanam Prabhana Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Govinda Namo Charanarvindam Govinda Namo Charanarvindam Govinda Namo Charanarvindam Govinda Namo Charanarvindam Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Sagiri, Govinda Namo Charanarvindam Sham Sundar Shakanda Shakanda Smarahas Murli Manara Radhika Raskamama Kripanite So Priya Charna King Kurim Kuru Tvayavasmi Tvayavasmi Nachivami Tvayavana Jivikaya Devi Tam Namam Charantikam Disi Gauranitai ki jai. Could you give me this microphone? So, this one too.
Is it on? Just turn it on if it's not on.
Kitchen? The people in the kitchen?
No, no.
That's
I'm
not
done.
needed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead, whatever. Go ahead, turn it on.
Hare Krishna. Comes on?
It's on. Just takes a moment. Just takes a moment. That's the moment. Let's see.
Hare Krishna. Oh, still? Yeah, you can hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Great. Shri Prabhu Arjun Guru ki jai.
First of all, I offer my Sastani Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times, at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmatiya Paramaradhatama Guru Pada Padma, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupada, Ashtotarasta Sri Srimad Rupanugacharya Varya, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj.
Jai.
Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all my dear brothers and sisters, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Vanchakapaturas and Kripasas, Puritanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. By the causes mercy of Sri Guranga Gauranga, this most rare and precious moment has come when we have assembled together to hear about the glories of Radha Kund. For this festival that began yesterday, we heard yesterday the glories of the appearance of Radha Kund and some of the Vaisistya, the specialities of Radha Kund, the superiority of this place according to time, Kal, Desh and Patra, time, place and circumstances. And how Sri Radha Kund is the Srimati Radhika's Abhinna Swarup, non different from Srimati Radhika herself. Radha Purna Shakti, Krishna Purna Shaktiman, Dui Vedanai Shastra Praman. See, Krishna is the Purna Shaktiman, the complete potent being. And Srimati Radhika, his Purna Shakti, Ladini Shakti, pleasure potency. And these two are Vednai Shastra Praman. All the scriptures said there is no difference. Though in our dualistic consciousness, we cannot understand it. It can be realized when? Only when we enter into the Advait Gyan. And even being in Advait Gyan, one may understand Krishna and his Shakti as a Tattva. But to realize Krishna not as a Tattva, we don't worship Krishna as a Tattva, as Bhagavan, but as Leela Bihari. As Akila Rasamrita Murti Prasimara Ruchi Ruda Tarakapali Kalita Shamala Torada Prayan Vidur Jati, as the embodiment of all the mellows of praying, all the rasas. So as long as a person has the Aishwarya Gyan, maintains the Abhiman that I am the servant of Krishna who is the all-powerful God, then actually he cannot attain Krishna. Gopi anugatya bina aishwarya jnane bajilei nahi pai brajendra nandane. Ramananda Rai has said, if someone worships Sri Krishna, but in their mood they have the Aishwarya Gyan, they see Krishna as Bhagavan, then bajilei, though they worship him, nahi pai, they don't attain Brajendra Nandan, Sham Sundar, Krishna in Braj. Because Krishna is only attained by Raga Marg. So Gopi Anugatya Bina Aishwarya Gyani, one can only overcome that obstacle of Aishwarya Gyan by being in Anugatya, under the guidance of Braja Gopis. So those Braja Gopis, they appear in this world in the form of Rupa Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath, and all of our Guru Parampara. Srila Vishnu Chakri Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, my Gurudev. These personalities are those very gopis. We follow them in our sadhak form outwardly. And by serving them, by surrendering to them, and hearing from them continuously, gradually, some ecstatic mood will come into the heart, and we can also follow them internally as well. And when one follows them internally, then one can cross over this obstacle of Aishwarya Gyan. You cannot just artificially forget that Krishna is God. Srila Prabhupada, when Srila Prabhupada came to the West people asked him, why have you come to the West? And he would say, I have come to remind you that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then about 30 years later, my Gurudev came to the West. He said, and I have come to teach you, to make you forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are stages. Because unless we know that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, and the Sarv Ashray, the shelter of everything, we cannot take shelter of Him. And if we don't take shelter of Him, then our mind will be preoccupied at every moment with existential issues. Where will I get food? Where will I get shelter? Where will I get security? What will happen to me when I'm old? And then, because the mind is preoccupied with worldly things, then one cannot do better. It's impossible. And therefore, the Angi, there are 6 Angas of Sharanagati, 6 limbs of surrender. But actually one of them is Angi. One of them is the body, and the others all depend on that body. So of the 6 limbs of Sharanagati, Anukulyasa Sankalpa, Partikulyasa Vivajana, Prakshititi Vishvaso, Guptitui Banamtata, Atmanikshepana Karpanye, Sadvida, Sharanagati. Of the 6 limbs of surrender, which one is the main one? The Angi from which all the others come, without which the others cannot even exist. Which one is Angi? There are only 6, so there's a chance if you guess. No, they're all Sharanagati. Which one of the 6 of them, accepting what is favorable, rejecting what is unfavorable, accepting Krishna to be your maintainer, accepting Krishna to protect you at all times, and to always be humble, and Atmanivedam, to give yourself, to have the mood that I am Krishna, nothing is mine, everything is yours, even my very self is yours. To have no separate.
No? Friend?
Accepting Krishna as your maintainer.
Goptitve Bharana, that Krishna will always maintain me. This is the main one. If we don't have this deep bhav in our life, then the Sharanagati cannot be manifest. And Sharanagati is the doorway to bhakti. If you try to come into the house and walk through the wall, you'll break your nose. You have to come to the doorway and enter through the doorway. So no one can enter into the Bhajan Raja, the realm of Bhajan, without coming to the doorway and entering there. So Goptitve Bharana, Krishna is my maintainer. Otherwise, if we don't believe that if I serve Krishna, then I have no other responsibilities, then we'll be engaged and absorbed in other responsibilities. So where's the Shraddha? What's the definition of Shraddha?
Where you place your heart.
The verse. Shraddha means Shraddha Shabde Vishwash Kohi Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kaili Savakama Kritai. The word Shraddha means the unflinching, Sudrida Nishchay, the unflinching certainty that Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kaila Savakama Kritai. If I serve Krishna, then I don't have to do anything else because all of my responsibilities have been fulfilled. That's Shraddha. That's faith. Mahaprabhu went to Srivas Thakur. He said, Srivas, you are a very poor Brahmin. Your house is very simple. And your family, but you hardly have good things to wear or eat. Srivas Thakur went. Mahaprabhu said, what does mean? Srivas Thakur said, means I will serve Krishna. And if after one day, if Krishna does not send food or what I need on that day, I'll fast. Means I'll serve Krishna. And if after 2 days Krishna doesn't send food or whatever I need, I'll fast. Means if after 3 days Krishna doesn't, while I'm serving him, he doesn't supply what I need, then I understand that Krishna does not want me to serve him in this body. He wants me to be relocated to another body. So I'll jump in the Ganges so I can be relocated and serve him there. This is Sharanagati. This is Gopititwai Bharana. And then all the other things, they are connected to that. Krishna is my maintainer. Now what's favorable to maintainer, I accept, what is unfavorable I reject. I have no separate interest from him. To always be humble. And to know that in danger he'll protect me. So this is Sharanagati. So unless we know that Krishna is Bhagavan, he's the Supreme Lord, then we cannot take shelter, because you can only have trust in the shelter of a person who's all-pervading and all-powerful. So we have to know that Krishna is God. We cannot artificially just say he's not God, then we can't take shelter of him. In our sadhak form, in our practicing form. But what happens is, as we chant Harinam every day, and spend some time every day in Savikalpa Samadhi. If you don't go into the Savikalpa Samadhi every day when you're chanting japa, completely disconnect from the whole world and be absorbed in the holy name, we cannot go through the Anartha Nivriti. You can chant for years. Bahu Janme Yadi Kori Shavana Kirtan Tabutana Pai Krishna Pari Premadan. You can chant Hare Krishna for lifetimes, but prema will not come. It's important to be really focused, really concentrated, really surrendered on the holy name and in the association of pure Vaishnavas. Eka kiyama nahi payabal Harinama sankirtani Tumi kripa kari Shraddha bindu Deha Krishna nama. Oh Vaishnav Thakur, alone I have no power to chant the holy name. Only pulling string is not chanting. Chanting the holy name is when Mahaprabhu comes and dances on the tongue. Oh Vaishnav Thakur, by myself I have no power to chant the holy name. So be merciful to me and bless me with a drop of Shraddha, actual faith, by which I can purchase the nectar of the holy name. So gradually as the devotee goes, he goes through Anattamrita, he comes to Nishta, and then when in Nishta, he begins to realize the beautiful form of Sri Krishna, Krishna Swarup. Only like a Vigraha. It is a Shabda Archa, the sound deity. Just as the deity is there on the altar, that deity, which is your Ishtadev, when you chant Hare Krishna comes. Just the Shabda Archa, just the form, without qualities. As the chanting goes deeper, then the qualities begin to appear. And the qualities of Krishna are so sweet. They're intoxicating. At first, the realization of Krishna is of opulence. And the rays of his opulence is like bright sunlight. Sunlight reveals everything. And it's hot. But when the sweetness of Krishna comes into the heart, in the stage of ruchi, then Krishna is like the moon. The moonlight doesn't reveal everything. It reveals something and hides something. So when we realize the qualities of Krishna in the stage of ruchi, then the cooling moonlight rays come and the hot rays of the Aishwarya go down. And his sweetness is revealed, but his Aishwarya is covered. And that time, the bhav of Krishna is God goes away. Internally, in one's chanting, in one's realization, and one relates to Krishna in a very natural way. You are Nandanandan, Yashodanandan, Gopal, Brajabaranagara, Radhakanta, Gopinath, like this. So, in this way, when the devotee enters into ruchi, hearing, chanting, remembering, under Vaishnavas in Ragamarg, then Vidi Maga Rata Jani Swadinatra Ratna Dani Ragamaga Karina Pravesh, by very carefully following Vaidhi Bhakti under the guidance of Brajrasik Rupanuga Vaishnavas, then when one's incentive and motivation to engage in bhakti becomes swadhinata, it gets the jewel of independence from rules and regulations of Shishi Gaurnitaya Ki Jai. Independence from any type of calculation or sense of duty, but rather one is engaged out of a pure taste. Then the devotee from the Vaidhi Bhakti enters into Raganuga Bhakti. But the association of Vaishnavas in Raganuga Bhakti is essential. Otherwise, one will practice Vaidhi Bhakti all the way up to Bhav and attain the Aishwarya Bhav, a Vaikuntha mood. So, by this one can go to Golok, but not to Vrindavan. Golok and Vrindavan is not the same place. The Krishnalok planet, the outer portion of the Krishnalok planet is called Golok. And there, Radha Krishna and all the associates are there. But there is a Aishwarya Gyan, knowledge that Krishna is God. And there is a Swakiya mood, Radha Krishna are married. Inside that planet, Madhya Mandal, inside that planet is a more secret realm, that is Dwarka. There's more sweetness manifest than Golok. And opulence, there's more opulence also, but there's more sweetness as well, which outweighs it somewhat. And then inside that is Mathura, and then inside that is Braj, Vrindavan or Gokul. That is the Antarmandal of the Krishnalok planet, the Antarmandal, the inner core. And in that inner core, which is called Braja, no one knows that Krishna is God. Even Krishna does not know that he's God. It is complete Naravat Leela, human-like pastimes. And there is Parakiya Bhav, Ujjwala Rasa. Jaya Jai Ujjwala Rasa Sava Rasa Sa Parakiya Bhave Johe Brajate Pracha. That is Braj. It is the Antamandal, the inner portion. So unless one is under the guidance of Vaishnavas in Raganuga Bhakti, you can serve Radha and Krishna, but the destination will be Golok. Because one has not been able to overcome the Aishwarya Bhav. So, Krishna, he is the supreme truth. But we don't want to attain Radha and Krishna as Ratva, but Krishna as Leela Bihari. Sweet, beautiful cowherd boy, son of Nandamaraj, playing barefoot in the pastures of Braj, and having a secret loving affair with the daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. Or to speak of this being confidential, even there it's a secret. They have to hide it from everyone. So, our Srila Rupa Goswami Pad in Upadeshamrita, he has discussed something about the glories of Radhakund in a very profound way. He said, Vaikuntaj janito bara madhupuri tatrapi rasutsavad brindaranyam udarapani ramanatta trapi govadanaha radha kundam hihapi gokalapate premamrita plavanat koryadasya virajato giritate sevam vivekinakaha. The meaning is Vaikuntaj janito bara. Madhupuri. Madhupuri means Mathura, and also on the other side from Mathura, Gokul Mahavan. This Gokul Mahavan is superior to Vaikuntha. Why? Janito. Because Krishna is born there. Vaikuntaj Janito para Madhupuri. Madhupuri is superior because Krishna is born there. The implication is that the incarnations of Lord Narayan, the opulent features of God, are not born. Look, was Lord Nrsingadev born? Who's Lord Nrsingadev's mother? Stone pillar, yes. Yes. But no one says that. No one says it. What about Varahadev? It just fell out of the nose of Lord Brahma. What's that? It's a little pig. Where did that come from? And then he began to grow and grow. So the various incarnations, they're not born because their Leela is not Naravat. It's not human-like. But Krishna is born, and therefore this is superior because there is more intimate and beautiful love in the natural relationship. That is called Lokik Sadbandhu Bhat Sambandha. Sambandha, the relationship, which is Lokik Sadbandhu. Lokik means of this world. Sadbandhu means your family or bosom friend. So Vat means like. Lokik Sadbandhu Bhat Sambandha is the basis of love, of Braja. To have a natural loving, like Krishna is my family member and my bosom friend. another human being. I'm human, he's human also. Very sweet. So this Gokul Mahavan is superior to Vaikuntha because that natural love is there. And because Brajbasis, they never think Krishna is Bhagavan, they think he's a child. So Yeya Tamam Prapadyante Tangstataiva Bhajamyam, Krishna reciprocates with everyone. So Krishna thinks he's a child. He becomes hungry, he becomes thirsty. Oh, mother, I am hungry, give me your milk. Like this. Shesha Ganesha, Dinesha Suresha. Shesha Ganesha Mahesha Dinesha Suresha Yahi Nirantar Gawe Yahi Anadi Ananta Akhanda Acheda Abeda Subeda Batawe Narda Se Sukha Vyasarati Pachi Harito Punipada Napawe Tahiya Hiya Ki Chohariya Chach Par Chach Pe Nacha Nachawe. One poet is saying, Shesh, Lord Anantadev, Mahesh, Lord Shiva, Ganesh, the son of Lord Shiva, the scribe of Vyasadeva, Dinesh, the sun god, Suresh, Indra, Ayahi Nirantaragawe, they're continuously singing about Parabrahma, the supreme truth. Yahi Anadi Ananta Akanda Acheda Abeda Subeda Patawe, he who has no beginning, he has no end. He is non-dual, he is indivisible. Narada Se Sukha Vyasarate. Narada Muni, he glorified that Parabrahma to Vyasadeva, and that Vyasadeva glorified that Parabrahma to Shukadeva Goswami. And they're all glorifying day and night until they're sweating. And they become exhausted, but they cannot come to the end of his glory. That very person, Tahiya Hirki Chauriya, the old ladies in the village of Gokul Mahavan, they take a chach, chach. When you churn the milk, yogurt, and make buttermilk, what's left over? It's worth nothing. Buttermilk, worth nothing. Chachba, chachpe, nachana chai. The old ladies take some buttermilk in their hand and say, "Hey, Gopal." And some water comes on Krishna's tongue, saying the chach. And they say, "Oh, if you do a dance, I'll give you some chach." And then baby Krishna's dancing. And then he stops, give him. And then he's drinking from their hand. So, like this. Darshayans tadvidam loka atmano britjavasyatam, Shukadeva Goswami Pad said. By these pastimes, how baby Krishna is controlled by the love of these Brijbasis, this natural parental love. Then the Supreme Lord is showing to those who know his opulence, like Brahma and Shiva and others, that Atmano Britjavasyatam. Only those who have an intimate natural family love for him can control him. He is Britjavasyata, controlled by their love. So Vaikuntaj Janito Bara, how superior is the Gokul Mahavan to Vaikuntha? No comparison, it's so high up. But on that side of the Jamuna, in Gokul Mahavan, there is a prominence of the Vatsalya Ras, the childhood pastimes, the Balya Lila. So Brindaran Yamudara Pani, Brindavan is superior on the other side of Jamuna. On the western side, there is the forest of Brindavan. There, the Kaishol Lila. The Kaishol Lila is prominent there. Krishna's adolescent pastimes in Madhurya Rasa. So there in Vrindavan, the Rasa Lila took place. Fulfilling the desire of Sri Krishna to relish the Madhurya Rasa. But Rupa Goswami was saying, Vrindavan Yamudara Pani Ravanat Tatrapi Govardhana. Govardhana is superior. Why? In Vrindavan there was the Sharadiya Rasa, autumn Rasa. But in Govardhan there was the Vasanta Rasa. And yesterday was not only the appearance day of Radhakund, Chaitapurna, but that is also the Vasanta Rasa Leela day. So the Srimad Bhagavatam describes the Shardiya Rasa, but Jayadev Goswami's Gita Govinda describes the Vasanta Rasa. This rasa is superior because in that Shardiya Rasa, even those gopis who were sadhan siddha, they were entering the Rasa Leela for the first time, they went there. But only those who have come to the same level as the Parikars, the eternal associates, they are allowed there at Govardhan. And at Govardhan, the superiority of Srimati Radhika was established in a more clear way, directly, than in Vrindavan. Why is that? This comes in the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. Ramananda Rai described to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oh, Madhurya Rasa is the highest. Mahaprabhu said, oh, hi, this is good, Agi Keoa, but can you tell something more? So then Ramananda Rai said, oh yes, Anaya Radito Nunam Bhagavan Harishra Yano Vihaya Govinda Prito Yamane Adraha. Of all the gopis, Radharani is the supermost, and this is the evidence. Because when Sri Krishna disappeared from the Rasa Leela, and all gopis were searching, they found his footprints, and then they saw another gopi's footprints were next to him. And they realized, oh, this gopi is most fortunate. She must have served the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan Hari, Ishvara. Why? Because God has fulfilled her desire. Yano Vihaya Govinda, because this coward boy has taken her, leaving all of us to be alone with her, leaving millions of us to be alone with her. So how great she is. It does not mean that Radhika has more love than any gopi. It means that Radhika has more love than all the gopis put together. Because Krishna left all of them only to be alone with her. It's amazing. So when Mahaprabhu heard this, he wasn't fully satisfied. Why? Mahaprabhu said, look, when Krishna disappeared from the Rasa Leela with Radharani, he did it in a hidden way. No one saw him leave. No one saw her leave. And so this might mean that there's another gopi for whom Krishna has love, and he didn't want to upset her by letting her see him leave with Radharani. Understand? So, he may have attachment for another gopi, more, and he just doesn't want to upset her, so he'll have a chance to meet with her on another day. So then, when Mahaprabhu posed this question, then Ramananda Rai had to solve that. So then, Ramananda Rai described the Vasanta Rasa Leela. In Vasanta Rasa Leela, Krishna went to Govardhan by Chandra Sarovar. And he was dancing there with all the Braj Gopis. Radharani had not arrived yet. And he'd already begun the Rasa Leela without her. And Radharani was feeling intense separation, and she wandered through the forest, and she came there and saw he'd begun the Rasa Leela. And she just came close enough that Krishna would notice her. And then she turned around and disappeared into the forest. Shat koti gopi madavama rakite narilo karijta Venugite dakei radikuna Venugite dakei Esho rate dako Esho rate dako Bangiya sirasa bandal tabe Bangiya sirasa bandal tabe Radha Endeshane Chalaye Chabe Radha Endeshane daughter tao. Dekho diya radhe rako appa. Dekho diya radhe rako appa. Boliya kanda ye kanda ye kanda. Boliya kanda ye Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is describing that moment. Thousands of gopis, millions of Shatakoti, Gopi, Madhavan Man, they were trying to pacify the mind of Krishna. But seeing Radhika and seeing her leave upset, they could not pacify him, they couldn't make him feel any peace, they could not satisfy him in any way. So Shatakoti, Gopi, Madhavan Man, Rakite, Narlo, Kori, Chatan, and Krishna got up and walked away and left all of them to search for Radhika directly in the vision of everyone. They were amazed. So Ramananda Rai gave this example. He quoted the verse of Geet Govinda. Itastatas tvam manusritta radhikam ananga bana branam kinna manasa krutanu tapasa kalinda nandani tadanta kunjay visasara madhava. This verse is very dear to our Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Because once, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he was in a Dharma Sabha, a devotional religious assembly. And different speakers were standing up and they were speaking Harikatha. So one devotee was describing the Rasalila. And he said, and then Radhika said, oh Krishna, na parayam chalitun, naya manyatta te manaha. Oh Krishna, I cannot walk any further. You can carry me wherever you like. And then Krishna knelt down and said, oh, you sit on my shoulder. And Krishna knelt down and suddenly he disappeared. Then Radhika's heart was broken. Hanata, Ramana, Preshta, Kwasi Mahabhuja, Dastaste Kripanayame, Sake Darshaya Sannidhim. Hanata, oh, Nat means Pran. When you hear this word Nat, Lord, don't think Lord, think Pran. Gopinath means, who is the Gopi Paranadona? Who is the Pran? You cannot move, you cannot think, you cannot do anything without Pran. Krishna is the Gopi Pran. So, Ha Nata, oh my Pran, I cannot live without you, I am dying. Ha Ramana, you are my Ramana, my lover. Here, Ramana, lover, has a very profound meaning. It means that, oh Krishna, you came to this secret place with me to enjoy, experience, taste a very special ras of love. And if you leave me, you will not be able to taste that rasa. So she's crying for him, not for herself. It is always like that. Anything gopis say, it looks like it's for themselves, but it's never. It's always for Krishna. Hanata Ramana, Preshta, you are my most dear one. Kwasi, where are you, where are you? It was if she could hear Krishna say, oh, it's too late now, you're dying. She said, Mahabhuja, no, your arms are so great. Though my pran is about to leave my body, if you just embrace me with your strong arms, I'll come back to life. It was as if she could hear Krishna say, oh, I am a prince. I am the son of Nanda Maharaj. I have a very high status in this village. Why did you tell me that I should carry you around in the jungle? Radhika said, just stay kripanayame. Oh, I am very wretched. I am your maidservant. Sake darshaya sannidhim. But because you served me, because you were combing my hair, you were decorating my hair with flowers, you were treating me like a friend, like an equal. So then I felt in this way. Sake darshaya sannidhim. Please come back and give me your darshan. And at once Radhika fainted unconscious on the ground. So the devotee in that sabha was describing this Hanata Ramana Presta. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur could not tolerate it. He could not tolerate it. Why? Radhikara dasi jani hoy abhiman shigarmai tava gokulakan. We can easily attain Krishna by having one-pointed devotion to Radhika. Those who have the abhiman, the pride, I am Radhika's dasi, Krishna is easily attained. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, being the incarnation of Nayana Mani Manjari, is completely absorbed in Radhika. Radhika's happiness is his happiness, her happiness. Radhika's distress is her distress. So when Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, being absorbed in the Manjari Bhav, heard the intense distress of Radhika, he could not tolerate it. And at once he stood up in that assembly and said, don't say, Hanata Ramana Prashta. Rather you should say, Itas titas tvam manasrishti radhikam anangabana pranab. Kinnamanasa, this verse we are discussing, that Ramananda Rai taught to Mahaprabhu. Say this verse, not from the Sharadiya Ras, say from the Vasanta Ras. That's because he cannot it cannot tolerate to hear Krishna has left Radharani and Radharani is burning in separation. No. We can tolerate that Radharani leaves Krishna and Krishna is burning in toleration, in separation. We can tolerate that. If Krishna is suffering, no harm. But Radhika should not be suffering. This is an abhiman. Unless we associate with Vaishnavas who are deeply absorbed in that bhav, then this bhav cannot comprehend it. But when we serve a Vaishnava with body, mind and words fully, and we make our heart one with that Vaishnava's heart, then the bhav in his heart overflows and comes to us. Chitete Kuriya Aikya. We have to make our chitta one with the heart of Shri Guru. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur spontaneously could not check himself because he has a deep spontaneous love for Srimati Radhika. So itastatas tvam manasrita radhika means Krishna was wandering here and there, going from kunj to kunj on the bank of Jamuna. And after searching in so many places, he could not find Radhika. And he was suffering from the rain of the arrows of Cupid. And finally, he just sat down in one kunj. He would rather be alone with his memories of Radhika than directly with all the other gopis. Visasada Madhava, and even though he's the goddess of fortune, he's the husband of the goddess of fortune, but Visasada Madhava, he was lamenting, he was crying. Kim karisati, kim varisati, sachiram birahena, kim danena janena, kim mama, jivatena grihena. He was thinking, what is Radharani doing right now? She's probably sitting with her friends and they're all criticizing me. Kim karisati, what is she doing? Kim varisati, what is she saying? How long will I have to wait before she will finally accept me again? I don't know what she's saying, but when I see her next time, I know what I will say. I will say, Kim danena jalena kim mama jivatena grihena. Oh Radhika, without you, what is the use of all my cows? It's very romantic for a cowherd boy. See, cows are really important to cowherd boys. So to say, oh, without you, what is the use of all my cows? It's very, for God, very romantic. What is the use of my residence in Braj? What is the use even of my life? Kim danena janena kim mama jivatena grihena. What is the use of even being alive without you? This is what I'll say to her. And he was sitting there, and in his mind he was imagining what will happen when they meet and how he will speak very politely to try to make her give up her contrary mood, huff, her man. So this Vasandrasa took place at Govardhan. So Rupa Goswami Pad is saying, Vaikuntaj janito Bare Madhupuri Tatrapi Rasotsavat Brindaranyam Udarapani Brahmanat Tatrapi Govardhana. At Govardhan also, what is there? Dan Kelly. Yatraiva Krishno Prashabhanu Putra Danam Grihitam Kalaham Vitene Srutais Priyayatra Mahatitasri Govardhano Me Dishatam Abhishtam. Oh Giraj Govardhan, please fulfill my desire. There is the Dan Kati, where Krishna checks Radhika when she's going to the Jagya of Bhaguri Rishi at Govindakund. Actually, it is not that she wants to go there. That is the pretext to meet with Krishna. And Krishna stops her, and then Because love is always hidden. It is always hidden. So they don't say, I love you. They immediately start criticizing each other and having an argument. And cutting each other's arguments. Ukti pratyukti. One statement and then the counter statement and the counter statement to that and the counter statement to that. The love is just flowing in the form of this argument. So Srutes Priyayakta Mahattasasi, this praying is so beautiful, so rasika, so delicious, that even the Sruti, the Vedas are called Sruti, that which must be heard. But the Vedas personified, they have two forms, Mantra Rupa and Deva Rupa. They have a form as mantras and they have their personified forms as devas. So the Srutis who must be heard, themselves must be heard, in their Deva Rupa, they desire to hear this quarreling of Radha and Krishna. Govardhanome Dishatamabhishtam. So Govardhan is superior. But there at Govardhan, Radha Kundami Hapi Gokula Pate Premamrita Plavana Koryada Savirija Giritato Sevam Vivekinaga. There at Govardhan, the supreme place is Radha Kund, where the brain is overflowing. Yesterday we discussed what that means. It means when the limitations, that limitation of just, I am Krishna, you are Radha, it is broken. And now Prem becomes the doer. Prem is doing everything. And Radha and Krishna are just instruments in the symphony of Prem. Prem is making them dance. Krishna Rachaya Prem, Bhaktara Nachaya, Apani Nachaya, Tina Nachi Ekatai. Prem makes Krishna dance, Prem makes Radhika dance, and Prem is like a third person and all three dance together. But Prem is Karta. Prem is the doer. There at Radha Kund. So beautiful. This Radha Kund is Radhika's abhinna swarup. When Krishna, he feels separation from Radhika, then he goes to Radha Kund. And when he smells the combined fragrance of all the different types of flowers, the belly, chameli, jui, madhavi, bakul, molasri, all the various types of lotus flowers, and especially the tulsi manjaris. When all these fragrances combine together at Radhika and smell, it's the fragrance of Radhika. He thinks, oh, Radhika is coming. When he hears the swans who are gliding along the crystal clear fragrant water of Radha Kund, warbling, the sound of those warbling swans. Aneka mantra nada manjulu purara vaskalat samajara jahang savangsane kwanati gauru. He thinks it's the tinkling of the ankle bells. Oh, Radharani is coming. When the breeze blows and touches his skin, he feels it's the deep sigh of Radhika. When he sees the chakravat, the golden and very round chakravat birds playing in the water in pairs, he thinks it's the breast of Srimati Radhika. And they're playing in the lotus flowers, so it seems like the lotus flowers are the reddish lotus hands of Radhika coming up to protect herself. Because sometimes Krishna tries to touch the body of Radhika and she's Ma Sprisha, Ma Sprisha. Masprisha means don't touch me. So she said, Masprisha, don't touch me. You see? Double negative means yes. Masprisha, don't touch me. Yeah? This is a kila kinchit bhav. Right. Sisi Gauranitai ki jai. This is a kila kinchit bhav. Do you know kila kinchit? One of the bhav alankars of Radhika. Garva abhilasa rudita smita suya bayakradam sankari karnam harsham arshad uchate kila kinchitam. Very important. My Gurudev has manifested a beautiful painting called Seva Kunj, and Radhika is in Kila Kinchit Bhav. What is Kila Kinchit Bhav? Radhika has garv, that means pride. Krishna has not gone to any other gopi, only to me. She becomes proud. Garva, Abhilas. She has so many desires for loving pastimes. Rudita. She's crying. But dry crying, fake. Garva Balasa Rodita, Smita, her eyes, she's partly crying but partly smiling. Smita, Asuya, she's manifesting hostility towards Krishna. Why? She's afraid. Will anyone see us? Kurdha, and she's angry. And all of this, just like if you make the sherbet, then you need water and you need to add some sugar, some elaichi, some black pepper, some camphor, but you have to get the basis of it is the water. Or if you make a rasagola, then you need sugar, you need some water, you need some elaichi, some camphor, but the basis is the paneer, the curd. So in the same way, the basis of all of these emotions is harsha, jubilation. She's so jubilant and manifesting like these 7 emotions all at once on the basis of joy. And she's sankarikara namasham. She's shrinking away from Krishna. And so just like one flower is beautiful, but a bouquet of flowers is stunning. So in the same way, because Radhika is not having one emotion, but she's having 7 emotions all manifest on her face at the same time. This is called Kila Kinchit Bhav. When Krishna is trying to touch her by force and she's shrinking away. Ei bhava yukta deke, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ei bhava yukta deke radhasya nayan, sangama haite sukhapai kotigun. When Sri Krishna sees Radhika's face light up with Kila Kinchit Bhav, he experiences 10 million times more happiness than the direct union with her in the Nikunja. This is Kila Kinchit Bhav. So now we're discussing what is Radha. Radha Kundi is so beautiful that when Krishna is looking here and there, he's reminding of Radhika, he's having sporties of Radhika. When he sees the Chakravarti birds in the red lotus flowers, it's like her hands protecting herself. As if Radha Kundi is Radhika having Kila Kinchit Bhav, which gives him 10 million times more happiness than even direct union with her. This is Radha Kundi. Radha Kundami Hapi Gokalapate. That's Radha Kundi when Radhika is even not there, when Krishna is in separation and seeing. And seeing this, he sees the breeze is blowing and the creepers are moving, and the long slender creepers move very gracefully like the long cool arms of Radhika. And it's as if Radhika is dancing. And seeing the creeper move like this, then Krishna also moves like this. He's completely absorbed in Radha Prem. Brinda Devi saw him. Said, oh, look. She was astonished. And she quickly went to tell Shrimati Radhika. Kasmad Brinde Priyasaki Hare Padamulat Kutaso Kundaranye Kimiha Kurute Nirtya Shiksham Guru Kaha Tam Tanmurti Pratitarulatam Digvidikshu Spuranti Shailu Shiva Brahmati Parito Natyanti Sapaschat. Krishna is there. He's having this sporty of Radhika. He's trying to touch her. She's having the Kila Kinchit Bhav. Brubeda Bertasambrito Nahi Uktir Madena Kula Vishranto Datipani Roda Rachanam Shushkam Tatakrandanam Shisto Yasaki Radhaya Muhurayam Sangopano Pakramo Bhavastena Ridistitomo Ridibi Vyakta Samanta Dabut. Krishna is trying to touch her and she's trying to stop him. How is it? Brubeda. Her eyebrows are frowning. Brubeda. Smita Samrito. But her eyebrows are expressing disapproval, but she cannot check a smile coming on her face. So her smile is, she's expressing disapproval and approval at the same time. Nahi nahi yukti. She's saying nahi nahi, no, no. Madena Kula. But as she's saying no, no, her voice is trembling. Why? Because she's feeling so much ecstasy from the touch of Krishna that she cannot utter no clearly. It's an indistinct nahi nahi. So that nahi nahi means yes. She's lifting her hands to stop him. Vidatati, Vishranto, Dadati, Pani Roda Rachanam. She's trying to stop Krishna with her hands. And as Krishna's coming, she's putting up her hands to protect herself. But she protects herself in such a weak way. So weakly, because her limbs are becoming slack in ecstasy, that she cannot physically resist Krishna. So because her defense is lacking in boldness, it's very weak, and she cannot stop him at all. And so the lack of boldness in her defense indicates that she doesn't want to defend herself really. She's just making a show. Shushkam tata krandanam. And she's crying, oh, but no tears are coming. Which means actually she's overjoyed. She's not really feeling discomfort or pain. But rather, yes, Krishna, what you are doing, this is a paramavidi, it must be done. It is mandatory, it is obligatory, it is compulsory. So, Sisto ya saki radaya muhurayam sangopano pakramo means the more Radhika tries to hide the feeling and what she wants, the more that becomes revealed. So, bhavas tena ridistitomu ridavi vyakta samanta dabu. So Krishna is relishing so much. This is the crookedness of Radhika's love. Ahe vivagati premna swabhava kutila bhavet. Ato heitura heituscha yuno manu udanchati. It is said that the love between a young couple moves in a crooked way like a snake. The snake wants to go in this direction, but his head goes that way. And then his head goes that way, and then that way, and that way. And in this way he moves in that direction. So this is the vakrata. Vibharapi kalyan sada viritim mua api. Gorapi goravacharya mura upachita vakramapi shuddho. Jaiti mura dvishi radhikano raga. The anurag of Radhika is full of contradictions. It's full of viruddha dharma, contradictions. So even though it's all pervading, but it's still increasing. Even though it's the most powerful and most significant, it's devoid of pride. And even though it's completely pure, it's totally crooked and filled with deception. Oh, this is rasa. Rasa and Braj is like this. So Krishna is experiencing all of these things. Radharani is not even there, only just having the darshan of Radhakund. And he becomes mad. Seeing this, Brinda Devi comes to Radhika. Radhika says, Kasmad Brinde Priyasaki. Oh my Priyasaki, where did you come from? Hare Pardamulat. Brinda Devi said, I came from the lotus feet of Hari. Radhika said, Kutaha, so where is he? Kundaranye. He's in a forest on the bank of your Kund. Radhika said, really? Kimiha kurate, what is he doing? Vrindadevi said, Nritya Shikshan. He's taking lessons in dancing. Then Radhika became suspicious. What? He's there with another gopi. And another gopi is teaching him some dancing moves. And she didn't say anything, only that look came on her face. Then Brinda said, oh Saki, don't worry. Radhika said, who is his dancing instructor? So Brinda said, Tam Twan Murti Pratitaralatam Digvidikshu Sprati. Oh Radhika, don't be worried. His dancing teacher is your beautiful form, manifesting herself in all the trees and creepers and flowers on the bank of Radhakund. He's seeing your beautiful form dancing there like a dancing teacher, and he is imitating your moves. He has become like a puppet in your hand as he dances behind the vision of you, the sporty of you that he sees everywhere in the kunjas on the banks of Radhakund. This is Radhakund. So good. We're not even talking about what it's like when Radharani arrives. This is only the prastavna. It's the opening introduction to the drama of Radha Krishna's loving pastimes at Radhakund. So when Srimati Radhika comes there, they meet together in the beautiful kunj. But when Radha Krishna play together their confidential pastimes in the kunj, then Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Champaklata, Astasakis and others, they have to recede into the distance somewhat, because they're of the same age. And Radhika will be shy in their presence. So they go and they sit beneath a tree on another bank of Radhakund, and they have the rasalap, very beautiful nectarine discussions about praying with each other. But those who are the dasis of Radhika, the maidservants of Radhika, headed by Rupa Manjari, they are so fortunate they can stay. They can witness the pastimes through the gavaksh, through the lattice windows of the Nikunja Bhavan, the forest pavilion, and they can drink the beauty of Radha Krishna's pastimes. Radha Nagara Keli Sagara Nimagna Ali Drisam Yatsukam Nota Lesha Lavayate Bhagavata Sarvopi Sokyutsava Tatrasha Apikasya Chinni Rupamam. So Praptasya Bhagya Sriyam Sri Vrindavananam Nidamni Parame Suyam Vapurnasya tu Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. He says that Radha's Nagara Keli Sagara, the pastimes of Radhika's lover, see Krishna with her in the Nikunjas, is just like an endless ocean. There are unlimited beautiful pastimes take place there, very confidential. Nimagna ali yatat yatsukam. And the maidservants of Radhika fix their eyes at the gavaksh, and they behold that. And their eyes experience such ananda. How can it be described? Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur said that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam Bhagavan is the Anandamoy. He is filled with bliss. He performs millions of pastimes in millions of universes, in millions of forms, with millions of associates. But all of the happiness that Sri Krishna, the festival of happiness, experiences, the whole totality of that, cannot equal one drop in the ocean of the Ananda that the eyes of those manjaris experience when they peer into the Nikunj. It's unbelievable, it's astonishing, but this is the Siddhant. Radha Nagara Keli Sagara Nimagla Ali Yata Yatsukam. This happiness is such. Even Krishna does not experience such joy. So they are very fortunate. And when the loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna they had come to their Suratanta, towards the end of their pastimes, then Radhika has such a mood. She wants to share the love of Krishna with all her Sakhis. So at that time, see Krishna, he took very dark black kasturi musk, and he took dark black agur, fragrant agur. You know agur? Yeah. In English it's called oud. So he took these very beautiful scents and he mixed them together and he smeared them all over the golden body of Radhika completely, until she became black just like him. And then he tied up her hair in a top knot like him, and he put a peacock feather on Radhika, and put his own ornaments on Radhika, and his own golden pitambar on Radhika, and then he put down a kushgrass asana, and made Radhika sit down on that kushgrass asana, and gave her a japamala of rudrakshas and put it in her hand. Said, sit there. And then Krishna, he got another peacock feather of pitambarsa, and he put on his vesh, and then he sat down next to Radhika, and the two of them were sitting in meditation. It was like seeing two Krishnas. Then Krishna could hear this very sweet musical tinkling of ankle bells. So he knew that, oh, Lalita and Vishaka and the other Sakhis are just coming here. So the Manjaris, who are so close to Radha and Krishna, they're already there, they're there in the Kunj. The Manjaris are seeing everything. So then Krishna, he made a gesture by his eye. That means, just don't tell them anything. Just be on our side and don't tell them anything. So then the Manjaris, yes. And then the Sakhis arrived and they looked in the Kunj and so, what is this? What country have we come to? What kind of place is this? We found a country where there were two Krishnas. What's going on? So then Brinda Devi, she looked Brinda Devi is also in on it. One thing you have to know about Brinda Devi. Correct? One thing you have to know about Brinda Devi, she's here. You can confirm with her. Is that she's one of the Sakhis in Radhika's group. But some Sakhis have equal love for Radha Krishna, some have more love for Radhika, and some have more love for Krishna. So the ones who are just called Sakhi, they have more love for Krishna, and Brinda is in that group. So though she's in Radhika's group, you have to be careful with Brinda. She's very tricky. And she'll tend to take Krishna's side. So then Brinda said to the Sakhis, oh, I think that one there, that one with the Rudraksha Mala, that must be Krishna. And he's been chanting some tantric mantras, and by his mystic power, he's made Radhika assume his form. So then the Sakhis looked at the Manjaris and said, what happened? What happened? The Manjaris said, we don't know. It was like this when we arrived. When we got here, it was like this. Everyone's lying. This is Braj. Don't trust anyone in Braj. They're all liars. Satyabratam Satyaparam te Satyam. It said Krishna is the absolute truth. In the past, present, the future. But in Braj, everyone is lying all the time. Why? Because Prem has Viruddha Dharma. It makes everything upside down. Everything becomes reversed by the influence of Prem. So the Manjaris say, we don't know. It was like this when we came here. And we asked them, oh, who is who? And they just became afraid and they didn't give us an answer. So they made a very elaborate lie to convince the Sakhis. So Brinda Devi had said, the one with the Rudraksha, I think that's Krishna, right? To make it so they have the wrong impression. Chitrasakhi, who's very soft, said, oh, now we're in big trouble. We have a very big problem. What are we going to do when we all return to the village of Yavat? And Jatila will say, where's my daughter-in-law? And here she is. And it's Vrindavan Bihaila. What will we do? Nandi Mukhi said, don't worry, Krishna has done something here, but he won't want to break the faith of Jatila. So he must give the Radhika's form back at some point. So as they were discussing in this way, then Krishna stood up and he spoke. He'd been practicing. He spoke in Radhika's voice. And speaking in Radhika's voice, Krishna stood up and said, oh my dear Sakhis, this boy has done something quite astonishing. The Sakhi said, Radhika, is that you? What happened to you? Radhika said, I am too embarrassed. That means Krishna. In Radhika's voice, said, I am too embarrassed to openly say it in front of all of you. I could tell you what happened to only one alone. And then that form of, it's actually Krishna pretending to be Radhika, took the hand of Lalita and said, I'll tell you, just you alone. Lalita said, oh Sakhi, your hand, the touch of your hand is just like the touch of Krishna. Your face, your cheeks, everything, it's just like Krishna. Only your voice remains the same. Then that Krishna, who everyone thinks is Radhika, Krishna said in Radhika's voice, oh yes, my Sakhi. Because Krishna, he took some water in the palm of his hand and he blew on it 3 times. It's a tantric principle. And then he smeared it all over me. And when he rubbed it on me, I was transformed into his form. But I kept my lips closed. And because none of the water went into my mouth, I was able to keep my voice. Lalita was amazed. She said, how is the touch? Even the touch is just like Krishna. And she thought, well, Krishna has he must have a power that he can transfer his touch to someone also. So then Krishna, who's pretending to be Radhika, said to Lalita, oh Sakhi, I cannot tell in front of everyone. I'm ashamed. The other Sakhi said, why are you ashamed? Oh Radhika, we are your closest friends. Why can't you speak in front of us? And Radhika just became, that means, the form of Krishna pretending to be Radha, just became silent. And then the Sakis realized, she's not going to tell us. She's not going to tell us. But they conferred with each other. They said, don't worry. Lalita can't keep a secret. She'll tell us everything later. Lalita must tell us later. Why? Because that's the meaning of Saki. Saki means, if there's some feeling in the heart, you cannot keep it inside. It must come out the mouth. If you hear or you read any of the beautiful Shastrava Goswamis, when any Leela of Radha Krishna is going on, one Saki is saying, oh, describing this, and another one is describing that. And you might think that it's like a literary device, because, you know, instead of the author describing what's happening, well, let's just put it in the mouths of the Saki. No, it's actually like that. Whatever the Sakis see, whatever ecstasy they feel, they cannot keep it in. It must come out of the mouth, but only with to their Sakis, not to others. So that's the meaning of Saki, friendship. So they said, oh, don't worry, Lalita will tell us everything afterwards. So then, Lalita and Radhika, who had been transformed, which means really Krishna with Radhika's voice, they went into a kunj and all the Sakis were waiting outside. They went into the kunj and Lalita said, oh Saki, tell me what happened. So she said, oh Saki, I hesitate to tell you. And she embraced Lalita. And as she was embracing Lalita, she began to drink the nectar of Lalita's lips. Lalita said, oh Saki, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then in Radhika's voice, Krishna said, oh Saki, this is the secret. You asked me what happened. And I'm telling you. I'm showing you. And then Krishna laughed in his own voice. And then Radhika realized, it's Krishna, but it was too late. Jai Lalita Madhava, Jai Kunja Bihari. Beautiful pastimes took place between Krishna and Lalita. Oh, but not so long. And then afterwards, Lalita came out of the kunj. She was fixing her clothing and her hair and everything. And she came out of the kunj. And all the Sakis were waiting. Lalita, tell us what happened, what happened? Lalita said, I cannot tell you. I cannot bear to tell you. Let Radhika tell you herself. But one by one. So now Lalita is cheating her Sakis. So then she said, oh Vishaka, you should go. Then Vishaka went inside. And Krishna did the same trick on her as well. Oh Saki, what are you doing? And then Krishna laughed in his own voice. It was a very big surprise. Adbhut. Astonishing rasa. Then Vishaka came outside, just tidying herself. They're very clear, sambok chin. And all the Sakis, what happened? I cannot say. Champalaka, you should go. One by one, like this. See, Krishna enjoyed all the Sakis. Afterwards, the Sakis came out, and all of them, all had the sambok chin, so there was nothing to hide from anyone. They could understand. So then they thought, oh, okay. So Radhika had conspired with Krishna to trick us. It's not only Krishna being tricky. Radharani was in on this as well. Right? Because she was sitting there with the Rudraksha. So then all the Sakis, they went back to that kunj. They said, oh, you are a great deceiver. But now your desires have been fulfilled. Why are you still sitting there in silence? So then Radhika, as if pretending, she was pretending as if she was coming out of a trance. And rubbing her eyes. Oh, where am I? And then she looked at her body. Oh, what happened to me? She threw off the pitambara and took off the peacock feather. What happened to me? So then, the Sakis, then they start to play a trick on Radhika. Because they hide from each other that they have pastimes with Krishna. All the gopis hide from each other that they have secret pastimes with Sri Krishna. So then the Saki said, what is this? 2 Radhikas. Radhika, you're here. And there was a Radhika there. also disguised in Krishna's form. But we were suspicious. We thought that that is Radhika there, disguised as Krishna, but we thought this cannot be the real. We were suspicious. So our suspicion protected us, and we didn't go near this fake Radhika. So now the Sakis are trying to cheat Radhika and make her think that the trick on them didn't work. So then, just as that time, Sri Krishna came to the Kunj, and now he's in his Krishna form. He's still in his Krishna form, and he came to the Kunj, and he began speaking again in the voice of Radhika. And all the Sakis were surrounding Radhika, and in the voice of Radhika, then Krishna said, "Oh my dear Sakis, don't fall for this trick. This boy has changed my form and made me like him. And now he's taken my form. He stole my form from me." So Radhika has taken off the Krishna disguise, and Radhika has come. The Sakis have dressed her, and she's back in her Radhika form. Now Krishna has come in his natural form, and he's pretending to be Radhika, who's been mystically transformed somehow by Krishna, and saying, "Oh Sakis, don't become the laughing stock of the village. Are you blind? Krishna has taken my form here. And by his mystic power, he's given me this form. Please save me, please save me. Leave this dangerous boy alone. And save me by quickly taking me to some cave at Giriraj Govardhan." Now he's trying to trick them again. So just then, Brinda Devi said to the Sakis, "Yes, Sakis, you should save yourself. Don't be tricked." It's actually Radhika herself, dressed as Radhika, and Brinda Devi taking the side of Krishna. He's saying, "Oh, Sakis, don't be tricked. Krishna's tricking you by taking this form of Radhika. But Radhika is here. Quickly save her and take her to a cave of Govardhan." So Brinda Devi is coming out on the side of Krishna. So then the Kundalata said, "What is this? What is going on? At first we thought there were two Krishnas, and now there are two Radhas. We thought that there were two Krishnas, but now there's a Radha here, and Radha is here also." So then Kundalata said, "Oh Nandimukhi." Nandimukhi is the sister of Madhumangal and the granddaughter of Purnamasi. So then Kundalata said, "Oh Nandimukhi, quickly, you should go to Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi. You should go to the mother of Sandipani Muni and tell her to come here and solve this problem, because no one knows what's going on. Everyone is completely confused." So then the Lita Saki said, No, Nandimukhi, you don't have to go to Purnamasi. Purnamasi is the Leela Shakti. It's all her fault. In the first place, she's the one who's doing this. If you bring Purnamasi here,
It'll get worse.
if you bring Purnamasi, she'll not explain the situation. She'll put us into some further illusion. So the Lalita Saki said, "I bow down at the lotus feet of Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi, but from a distance." When Lalita Saki said this, then Brinda Devi was laughing, Nandimukhi was laughing, Kundalata was laughing, Krishna was laughing, Radhika was laughing, Lalita Vishaka, all the Sakis, all the Manjaris were laughing. And they are immersed in the Hasya Rasa. Hasya Rasa is very favorable for Madhurya Rasa. When Madhurya Rasa is saturated also with Hasya, then it becomes more intense. And in this way, everyone was relishing Madhurya Rasa mixed with Hasya Rasa in the Kunj on the bank of Radhakund. This is Radhakund Lila. There's no place in the universe. There's no place in the material universe, the spiritual universe, in Vaikuntha, Dwarka, Golok, Dwarka, Mathura, or even in Braj, in Vrindavan or Govardhan, like Radhakund. These are the glories of Radhakund. So Srila Rupa Goswami Pada has said in Upadeshamrita. Do you know Upadeshamrita? Yes? Krishnas yotsche pranaya vasiti prayasibo pi radha kundam chasya munibhira vitas tadrigeva vyadayi yat prashtayar apyalam vasulabam kim puna bhaktibhajam tat pramadam sakridati saraha snato aviskaroti. He said, of all the objects of Krishna's pranay, Krishna's love, the gopis are the greatest. And among the gopis, Radhika is the highest object of his love. And Radhakund is exactly as dear to Sri Krishna as Radharani herself. That Radhakund is very difficult to attain. Yat prashta akpalam masulabam. Even for prashta, great liberated souls like the four Kumaras and other elevated beings. If one will simply bathe once in the waters of Radhakund, his brain will be fully awakened. So this is the 11th verse, the last verse of Sri Upadeshamrita Rupa Goswami. It's very deep, it has a very profound meaning. If great persons like Narad and the four Kumaras cannot attain this position, then what hope is there for us?
Yeah.
So at the end of Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami is throwing us into the depths of despair and depression. No, that's not what he's trying to do. Poetry is not like this. The meaning is that if a person will try to attain this, even being like Narad or the four Kumaras, son of Kumara, anyone, if they will try, they will fail. But Tishtan Brajai Tadanuragi Jadanugami, in the essence of all advice, verse 8, he says, yes, you can attain it if you're in Anugatya. If one is in the Anugatya of Brajrasic Rupanuga Vaishnavas, then it can be attained. It does not depend on our own power, abilities, skills, our own merit. It depends on being submissive and in the Anugatya of a realized Vaishnava. Then, it does not matter how disqualified one is, one will become qualified. And conversely, the verse is saying, it doesn't matter how qualified you are. No, cannot attain it. So it is by the Dwani, in the Kavya, in the poetry, it is the glorification of the principle of Anugatya. Anugatya Mahibhakti. Here, Yat Prashta Rapkalam Suryabam, it's in the masculine, but if there's a group, many masculine and feminine persons, then the masculine is used for the whole group. So it also indicates that this love, which is experienced at Radhakund, it is even rare for Braj Gopis. Even Nityasiddha Braj Gopis who are there in Goloka Vrindavan. That means Goloka Stita Vrindavan. The Vrindavan which is in the innermost, the Antramandal, the innermost portion of that planet Goloka. So it's even rare for them. Why? Because only the Gopis in Radhika's group have Adiruddha Mahabhav. Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranaya, Rag, Anurag, then Ruddhabhav. All Gopis have up to Ruddhabhav. Uddhav has glorified all the Gopis. Eta param tanubrito bhuvi gopavatvo. Govinda eva nikalatmani Ruddhabhava. In Srimad Bhagavatam. So all the Gopis, they have up to Ruddhabhav. It's a very deep subject, what that is. On another day, we'll come to Brajmandal Parikrama and we'll discuss these things. But only Radhika's group, her Sakhis, have the Adiruddhabhav, which is of 3 levels. Two levels, Modan and Madan. And Modan in separation becomes Mohanakya Mahabhav. But the highest is Madanakya Mahabhav, and that Madanakya Mahabhav is only in Srimati Radhika, only in her. But those who become the dasis of Radhika, they can be with Radhika at that time when her highest prem manifests, and it spreads out from her and pervades them. So no one can have it, but the manjaris can be pervaded they can be vyapt by the vritti, by the waves of Radhika's Madanakya Mahabhav. And therefore this position, to be the dasi of Radhika, there is no position as fortunate. Though Lalita Vishaka and others, by pada maryada, that means by the etiquette of their status within the group, they are senior and superior in many ways to the manjaris. But by seva sobhagya, that means by the good fortune of the service opportunities that the dasis have, the younger girls, they are more fortunate than even Lalita and Vishaka and others. Tambula Panapada Madana Payodana Visara Dibi Brinda Ranya Maheshwarim Prayatya Yashtoshanti Praya Prana Presta Saki Kulada Pikilasan Kochita Bhumika Keli Bhumish Rupa Manjari Mukasta Dasikasang Sway Raghunath Das Goswami Pad said, I take shelter of the maidservants of Radhika headed by Rupa Manjari, because they render so many services, such as giving very flavorful tambul to Radha and Krishna, massaging their lotus feet, bringing cooling water, and washing away the cosmetics, all the cosmetics of Krishna on the face and body of Radhika, all the cosmetics of Radhika on the face and body of Krishna. They can't go home like this. So in the early morning, the Manjaris come. This is why Mangalartik, we have Mangalartik every morning. In our mat we sing a song which describes the morning pastimes of Radha Krishna waking up. So the Pujari is offering some water and then offering a handkerchief. The bhav is, first the light, first the Manjaris come into the kunj, and they look, they take the deep and they look to see that how the eyeliner of Radhika is on Krishna's lips. How the chandan from Krishna's chest is on Radhika's chest, like this. And they take the light and they look to see what they have to do. And then they give some water and then you get a handkerchief and you wipe off all the marks. So when they return to the village, no one will see them. So in Raganuga Bhakti, you do the same like Vaidhi Bhakti, but the bhav, the nectar, the essence of the inner meaning is present in everything that the devotee does. Everything is meaningful and connected with the pastimes and connected to your own sambandha, eternal loving relationship to Radha and Krishna. So Tambulapana Paramadana Payodana Visara Dibi. They serve Radhika so intimately. Radhika never thinks that they're different from her own limbs. She has no shyness around them. Radhika is Srimati, but she's also Hrimati. Hrimati means she's very shy in front of her Sakhis, but in front of the Manjari she has no shyness at all. So that means Prana Prasta Saki Kulari Pikala Sankochita Bhumika. If Radha and Krishna will be enjoying sweet pastimes in the Kunj, Lalita and Vishaka will have to be at some distance away. They are Sankoch, but Asankoch, the maidservants of Radhika, Prana Prasta Saki Kulad, they have no hesitation. They are more free to come and go than even the Lalita and Vishaka and others. So they watch through the Gawak, through the lattice window, and they can see, they can read from Radhika's behavior by her glancing, even by her breath. The way that she breathes, from this they understand what she wants. Swasamud Swarabalibu, Chalatanayana Mukamon, Toriso Eri Lagi, Jesuk Somajai Kon. In Brijbas it said, the Manjaris are watching the swas, the breathing of Radhika. And just from their breathing, it's as if the breathing of Radhika is speaking a language that they can understand. But she doesn't have to say anything. Chalatayana Mukamon. Only the eyes are moving, but the mouth is silent. They're serving in silence. And coming and giving massage, giving tambul, fanning with the chamra in the very intimate moments when Radha and Krishna are reclining together. So Toriso Eri Lagi Jesuk Samajai Kon. When Radhika sits, they sit at her feet. And the heel of Radhika is touching the chin. Even of one Manjari, and she just moves the heel like this, and the Manjari gets up to go and get what she needs. Jesuk Samajai Kon. Who can imagine what kind of happiness this is? Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Jugal Milan Arati Karae Lalita Disaki Gan. And in the last verse, Sri Radha Madhava Poda Sarasija Ase Bhakti Vinoda Saki Pode Suki Bashi. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his eternal Swarup of Kamala Manjari, is floating at the ocean of happiness at the lotus feet of these Sakis, Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari and others. Wow. So, this is what Rupa Goswami is saying in the Upadeshamrita. Tishtan Braje Tidanuragi, always residing in Braj, being Brajrasika Vaishnavas Anugatya, and then even though one be very unqualified, but he will attain that eternal service of Radha Krishna on the bank of Radha Kund. Sevam Vivekinaka. What discriminating person would not desire for that? That's the goal of life. If you can just fix your prayojan, your goal of life, in this life, then this life is successful. Because many persons, they're doing this and that, but they haven't fixed what do I want, what's my destination, what is my ultimate goal. That is the prayojan. So yes, praying prayojan. Praying is the goal. Yeah? But among the various types of praying, what type of praying? So we have to fix that goal of our life, and all of our hearing and chanting, remembering, should be focused towards that attainment. Not this avatar and that avatar and this incarnation. Api chaktwa lakshmi patemitiv ito vyoma nayanim. So Raghunatha Swami in Manashiksha said, give up all attachment for any Vaikuntha Murti, any form. Any other form except for Vrindavan Bihari Lal. Bhakti is one-pointed. So the goal can be attained by one-pointedness, unpretentious humility, and intense hankering. If we have intense hankering, unpretentious humility, and one-pointed fixity on our goal, then we must be successful. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Varasani Wali ki jai, Sri Radha Kund Mahima ki jai. Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Go Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Sadhu Sadhu.
So we'll sing a little kirtan and dance, and then Mahaprasad will be served. I'll stay here for a little while. If any devotees need to speak with me, I'll speak to the devotees, because early in the morning I'm flying to the next festival.
Where is that, Prabhu?
New York, Queens, New York. Just jump on a train and come. Get a flight.
Krishna Pradhan Mandir?
It will be at